Most people think they fear failure, but the truth runs much deeper. What we really fear is finishing, because finishing forces us to face who we truly are. As long as you don't finish, you can still be anything. You can still have potential. You can still imagine success without facing reality. But the moment you finish, when you complete something, you have to face the truth. Is it good? Is it enough? Am I enough? Ibn Arabi said this is why people don't finish, not because they're lazy, not because they're busy, but because finishing forces evaluation, forces judgment, forces truth. And as long as you don't finish, you never have to face that truth. You can live in potential and possibility in someday. And that feels safer, but it's also a prison. Think about all the things you've started but never finished: the book you were going to write, the project you planned to complete, the skill you wanted to master, the goal you meant to achieve. You started with excitement, with energy, with a clear vision, and for a while you made progress. You pushed forward, you felt good. Then somewhere along the way you stopped. You lost interest, got distracted, moved on. And that unfinished thing sits there, haunting you, reminding you, making you feel guilty, making you feel like a failure. But Ibn Arabi would tell you, you're not a failure. You're afraid. Not afraid of failing. Everyone thinks it's about failure. It's not. It's about finishing. Because finishing means the project is no longer potential. It's no longer what it could be. It becomes what it is. And what it is might not be good enough, might not live up to the vision you had. Facing that gap between imagination and execution is terrifying. So you don't finish. You keep it perfect in your mind, untouched, unjudged, unreal. This is the hidden reason we rarely admit even to ourselves. We say, I'm too busy. I lost motivation. I'll come back to it. But beneath all these excuses lies one truth: unfinished work can't be judged, it can't be criticized. As long as it's incomplete, you can still imagine yourself as the person who will do something great someday. Ibn Arabi observed this in people who had endless ideas but no completed work. They would begin with passion and excitement but never finish. And they always had reasons, good, legitimate reasons. But beneath them was fear: fear that completion might reveal they are not as good as they imagined. And here's the painful part: as long as you don't finish, you can maintain the illusion that you're talented, the illusion that you're capable, the illusion that you could do something great, if only the conditions were perfect. But finishing destroys that illusion. Finishing shows you exactly where you stand, your skills, your limits, your reality. That's why people collect half finished projects. They start a book but don't finish it, start a business but don't launch it, start learning a skill but don't master it, start working out but don't continue, start therapy but don't complete it. They tell themselves they'll finish later, but later never comes, because it's not about time, it's about fear: fear of being seen, fear of being judged, fear that they're not as special as they hoped. Ibn Arabi called this the tyranny of potential, when potential becomes identity, when you define yourself by what you could do rather than what you have done. Potential feels safe because it's infinite. Completion is finite, real, judgeable. But potential without completion is meaningless. It's fantasy, comforting but empty. The more you stay in potential, the harder finishing becomes. You train yourself to start but not finish, to dream but not execute, to imagine but not create. You become not someone who does things, but someone who starts things. So, how do you break this pattern? Ibn Arabi said, you must be willing to be bad, willing to finish something imperfect, because imagination is always better than reality. The book you imagine is always better than the book you write. The business you imagine is always better than the business you launch. The ideal body is always better than the one you build. If you demand perfection, you will never finish. Perfection is an excuse. a trap. People who finish things have made peace with imperfection. They don't aim for perfect, they aim for done. And when you aim for done, you finish, you grow, you get better with each completion. So here's the practice: pick one unfinished thing, not 10, not all of them, just one, and commit to completing it, not to making it perfect, just complete. You will feel resistance. You will feel the urge to quit, to start something new. That urge is your fear, fear of completion, fear of judgment. Recognize it, then finish anyway, even if it's not perfect, even if it's not what you imagined. When you finish, something profound happens, not outside, but inside. You become someone who follows through, someone who completes, someone who can trust themselves. Ibn Arabi said that the journey from potential to completion is the journey from child to adult. Children live in imagination, in what could be. Adults live in reality, in what has been done. Reality, even imperfect reality, has weight. It leaves evidence. It changes the world. Potential does not. If you live your whole life in potential, you'll reach the end carrying nothing but stories of what you meant to do. Finishing gives you proof, not for others, but for yourself, that you can do what you say. The more you finish, the easier it becomes. Not because it's less scary, but because you've made peace with imperfection. You realize the gap between vision and execution doesn't diminish you, it makes you human. Starting feels good. Starting feels full of possibility. But starting is easy. Anyone can start. Finishing is the real test. If you constantly start but never finish, you're not growing. You're avoiding. Avoiding completion. Avoiding evaluation. Avoiding truth. So, the invitation is simple. Stop starting new things. Finish what you've already begun. Pick one thing, complete it, then pick another. Complete that. Build the muscle of completion. Build the identity of someone who finishes. That identity will change your life, not someday, but now. Because potential is just a story. Completion is proof. And proof is what builds real confidence. Confidence earned through action, not imagination. Finish something small today. Let it be imperfect. Let it be real. Because the moment you finish, you step out of illusion and into your true life. Subscribe to Mystics and Masters for more wisdom like this.